You're listening to the Business and BBQ Podcast, hosted by Tim Harridge. Tim Harridge is an active entrepreneur who built and sold 6 companies by the age of 40 and enjoys sharing the ups and downs of business and entrepreneur life. As for the barbecue, that's just something he has a passion for and likes to share as well. Here's your host, Tim Harridge.
All right. What's cooking, everybody? Tim Harridge here with another episode of the Business and BBQ Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me again. Today, we are going to talk to a podcasting rock star. Today, we have John Lee Dumas as our guest on the Business and BBQ Podcast. John Lee Dumas is the founder and host of EO Fire, an award-winning podcast where he interviews today's most inspiring entrepreneurs 7 days a week. With over 1,400 episodes and 7 figures a year in revenue, JLD has shown the world the power of podcasting. Prepare to ignite. We're going to discuss our common background. We'll talk about the way to add value to people that are willing to be your guest. We're going to define passion. Of course, we'll ask him what his barbecue is. We'll talk about giving up the good for great and how to divorce your business. We've also got a surprise guest. Stick around. I can't wait to introduce you to John. Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/TH and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a free title and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/TH today. Get started with your free trial and claim your 1 free audiobook.
Yo!
I told you he'd be right on time.
Right on time. What's going on, guys?
Not much. John, how are you?
Puerto Rico, sun is shining. Our birds are singing. Life is good.
So this is my little man, Will. He listens to you on the podcast with me. He wanted to say hi.
Hi. Hey, Will, are you prepared to ignite?
Now you gotta go. You're welcome. All right, John, welcome to the show. First off, I got to talk about our common background. We've both dabbled in the military and in real estate. Yes, sir. So thank you for your service.
Well, I appreciate the appreciation and thank you.
Yes, sir. Second, I'd like to tell everyone to follow you on Instagram. It's one of the things I really like to watch. I like to look at your lifestyle. You're basically my mentor in podcasting. You just don't know it. And I think they'll really enjoy your posts. So I just want to kind of start with that.
Well, let me start by commending you for doing things right as a host, immediately trying to add value to your guests' audience, to your guests' platform. And let me just tell you, Tim, so few people do that. You know, you come on a show, you come on this or that, and they just want to extract information from you, which is fine. That's the name of the game. But I want to commend you for being special. Thanks.
Well, thank you. So I want to talk about defining passion. Can you just talk a little bit about what it's like to be passionate about what you do every day?
Sure, because I've lived both sides of that coin. There was many years post-military where I wasn't passionate. I tried to become passionate about law school, but I hated it, dropped out. I tried to become passionate about corporate finance, ended up just not being passionate about it. Didn't hate it, but just wasn't for me. Tried commercial real estate. And again, all these different things were me tasting and testing because I just didn't really have a direction. I didn't really have like a focus, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't for me. And so finally, just going out and saying, I need to learn from other people who have found their passion. What did that do? That led me to reading great books by entrepreneurs of times past who took their passions and turned it into successful businesses. And those books led me to audiobooks. Those audiobooks led me to podcasts. Podcasts as a listener led me to saying, wow, I actually love this medium because I get it. It's free, it's on demand, it's targeted. How can I get involved in this medium? This is actually something that excites me. I wouldn't say I was passionate about podcasting. I mean, who wakes up and says they're passionate about becoming a podcast host? You know, not me. I wasn't that person, but I knew having the ability to have great conversations with entrepreneurs that I looked up to, that I admired, the Tim Ferrisses, Seth Godins, Gary Vaynerchuk's, Tony Robbins of the world would be super cool and fun. And guess what? As I put in the reps, as I got better, I started to enjoy just the art of podcasting more and more. And it became a passion. It bloomed into a passion. And here I am today.
When I watch you on Instagram, you're always traveling to a different island. I think you're going out of town for like 3 months here soon.
90 days.
That's passion. I mean, and that's kind of gets me to my next part of this is I use barbecue in my life and in my show for now as a metaphor for taking time for things that are important to you. Because barbecue is one of those things you can not rush it. You can't rush cooking it. And frankly, in Texas with 4-hour lines, you can't rush eating it, right? You have to just take your time and enjoy it. What are some things for you that are like your barbecue that you take time for every day, every week, every year, etc.?
My self-care. And it wasn't always that way for sure. But, 3 or 4 years ago when I woke up and realized, okay, I've achieved financial success for sure. I've achieved location independence for sure. I've established lifestyle freedom. But at the end of the day, I'm not sleeping well. I'm not really eating well. I'm not really taking care of my body the way that I personally want to. And again, I think you need to know thyself. And I was just looking in the mirror and just taking, a finger to my pulse and saying, I'm not at the optimal fitness that I personally want to be. And that's where I started to pour a lot of my extra time and a lot of my extra bandwidth, a lot of extra focus over the years, which frankly has taken away from some of the growth of the business, which I'm totally fine with, because my main goal in life isn't to just keep growing the business, to get more employees, to have more management, to have all this stuff. It's to really have a lean, mean, profit-generating machine of a business, which Entrepreneurs on Fire is, and then to say, okay, now that I've got this humming along, I'm going to spend as much time as it needs to keep this machine going. Now let's focus on how can I get as healthy as possible? How can I just enjoy what I've created for as long as possible now? Because, hey, if I die of a heart attack in 3 years, then what was all that hard work really for if I can't enjoy it for the next 30, 50, 100 years?
That's exactly right. And it's almost like I gave you my list of questions in advance because many entrepreneurs start a business, then they get married to the business. They start a business so that they can have more free time, but then they spend all their free time in the business. And it's one of those things I watch and I did and I've done. I built this business where I had 30 employees and I had to drive an hour and a half in traffic each day just to sit in an office I didn't want to be at.
This is what I did, by the way. I created my business. I married my business. Then I divorced my business. But I said, let's still be friends. And we are great friends. And we're really good friends. And we work together really well as friends. But guess what? This friend knows and isn't jealous that my new girlfriend, is my health and self-care.
Right.
And that's fine. Because I'm not cheating on my ex-wife.
Well, that's right. I mean, so that's what I was going to say. A lot of people are good at something and then they want to start a business in what they're good at. And then they just end up just chained to a job and they're just a crazy boss now. When we talked on the phone a couple of weeks ago, you said something to me. You said, Tim, you used a John Rockefeller quote, don't be afraid to give up the good and go for the great. Can you just talk a little bit about that? I'm sure when you were living in California, you made some money. What took you to Puerto Rico? What helped you give up the good and go for that great?
So it was good. I was making millions of dollars a year, but I was paying over $1 million a year in taxes. So I'm like, well, I can work twice as hard and make a little bit more, but still be having half of that chunk taken out every single year, essentially work for the government for 6.5 months until June 15th. Every single year, I can wake up and say, all right, January 1st, I got 6.5 months of working for the government before I start working for myself. Or I can move to Puerto Rico and make half as much money, keep twice as much money, and work half as hard. And it's not necessarily that I'm doing those things. I'm not working half as hard as I would be if I was in California, because frankly, you lose motivation when you're paying that much tax to make more money anyways. It's just such a backward system. But, the reality is that I'm now just working hard when I want to, not working when I don't want to, keeping the money that I make and really creating the lifestyle freedom that I want. And it's been an amazing decision. It's been an adventure. And, that's the thing. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I could never move to Puerto Rico. I'm like, if you say so. If you say so, that is true. We weren't stuck here. If we came here and hated it after 6 months or a year, we ended up loving it, finding a great community, finding our dream home. And we might be here for 40 years. We might be here for 4 more months and make a decision that, you know what, we've banked it for 4 years now because we're on our 4th year in Puerto Rico now. Now it's time to move on to somewhere else. That might happen. It might not.
So when we were on the phone, you were doing a strategy call for me and you went through a rating system about passion and talent. And as a real estate investor, I kind of shared with you that I'm a 10 in skill level, but my passion for it's probably a 3 or a 4. And then when we talked about barbecue and my talent for it's probably a 5 or 6, but my passion's like a 10. And you kind of went through a little, where did you learn that system? Is that your system? The kind of adding up the numbers?
Yeah, I came up with it on the spot, 100%. I've never used it before. I've never used it since, although I probably will use it again because it's really good.
It was great.
But also, the thing is, you're never going to become more passionate on that thing. You're going to stay at a 3 or a 4 there for the most part. You probably capped out there, but you have not even close to capped out on your talent level for something that you're passionate about and you're willing to put the work in for. I mean, your cap is becoming a 10 out of 10 and you're on your way there because of your passion and your desire to keep on putting in the work. So it's just such a no-brainer.
Yeah. And so, I'm actually in the process now of transitioning away from the whole business and barbecue aspect and really getting just strictly barbecue. And it's fun. And my friends engage with me on social media about it, and it makes me happy. I'm going to have to eat more healthy though, John. So you got to hurry up with those training programs, because we don't want to have clogged arteries at the age of 41.
True. It's true. You've got to do sprints and then you've got to come back. So, you've got to sit down, eat a big old pile of meat and love it. But then you've also got to know that, listen, I maybe need to fast for 24 hours now, because I'm going to give my body a chance to just digest this great food, do what it needs to do with it, clean out the system, detox, and then go in for round 2.
Almost out of time. You're really a busy guy. What's just some advice that you could give someone? Say they've got this burning desire in their soul. I mean, whether it's to share information via podcasting or share information via masterminds or just volunteering. What's just some general advice to take us home on following a passion or a burning desire, and kind of some of the steps you took to get out of the rat race, so to speak, and get where you are?
So, number one, the reality of this quote: you're going to die. You're going to die. You are going to die. You need to understand that, say that to yourself, and realize that it's an absolute fact. Now, do you want to be in those last few months of your life and look back and say, man, I just really grinded it out 65 when I was, overweight because I was stressed and unhappy. And so I was just and then I just kind of cashed it in for 10, 15 years. And now it's over. Is that the one life you're choosing because you're going to die? Or are you going to say, you know what, man, thank God that I was 55 years old. I looked in the mirror and said, I love doing this. It's not going to be easy or quick, and I'm going to make a slow, intentional transition, and I'm going to do it as right as I can. I'm not just going to jump off the deep end of this pool, but I'm going to take it step by step, have patience. I'm going to be realistic with my goals and aspirations. I'm going to just completely cut out all the unnecessary expenses of my life, just so I can wake up every day spending it doing what I love. You're a great example of this. I mean, you love barbecue, and that's how you're going to spend the majority of your life, with your family and surrounding with barbecue. And that is an inspiration for others, because it's there. It's there for people. And how much happier will you be making $67,000 a year doing exactly what you love every single day than $124,000 commuting 90 minutes one way to work, paying a bunch of that in taxes anyways, paying employees, having more stress, more risk, all that stuff. I mean, you can really create a life where you can do it. And then what if you do hit it like I hit it? $27,000 the first year, I was on path for that middle 5, maybe low 6 figures at some point, but something clicked, shot it to $100,000 a month. And I haven't been under that for 71 months in a row now. And I've built complete and total financial independence. So it's there.
So that may be the title of this episode. You are going to die.
Yeah, I'm going to die.
So we're almost out of time. Real quick, if you could I know you've got a free podcasting course. You've got a ton of resources. Could you just tell the listener how to connect with you? And then my initials are TGH. I love the way you sign off. Could you take us out with your normal sign off?
Sure. So for me, Entrepreneurs on Fire is really a great place to listen to my podcast, to subscribe anywhere you listen to your podcast. eofire.com is the website. That's the headquarters. Tons of free content for you there, free courses on podcasting, funnels, masterminds. And listen, you're the average of the 5 people you've been spending the most time with, and you've been hanging out with TGH and JLD today. So keep up the heat.
All right. Thank you, John.
Take care, brother. Be good.
Man, that was great. Stick around. We've got some other things to talk about. There's definitely some more smoke and fire on the way. Start collecting more leads in minutes. Not only do I use HubSpot's free CRM, but I also use their free marketing tools. Start turning visitors into leads today. Sign up for free at HubSpot.com/TH. With HubSpot Marketing Free, you'll have everything you need to convert more visitors into leads. Sign up for free today, and it's free forever. No contract or credit card required. It's a risk-free way to see what inbound marketing can do for you. Start turning visitors into leads today. Sign up for free at HubSpot.com/TH. There's just a lot going on right now. We've had a busy summer between Jamaica, San Antonio, and now Virginia. It's kind of hard to get my feet on the ground. Been eating a lot of barbecue lately, been making a lot of barbecue. And I'm really entering a point to where we're going to start exploring the barbecue more, but also rental property more. So if you're listening to this and you're a real estate investor and you own at least one rental house or you have owned one rental house, please go ahead and check out reimasterminds.com. We're about 4 weeks away from our first meeting in Rockwall, Texas. On August 17th, there'll be up to 50 people in a room with me all day. We'll have some events on the 16th as well as some on the 18th, but the main event is August 17th. reimasterminds.com. There will be a link down in the show notes, so check it out. It's about 4 weeks away. I'd love to spend some time with you. If you haven't done so, please just do me a favor. Leave me a comment on my website. Leave me a review on iTunes or Google Play or Spotify or one of the other platforms. Let me know what you think about the show. Check out timherridge.com. You can post questions if there's certain topics you'd like me to cover. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking your time to listen to me. I hope it helps you. Check me out on social media. I hope you have everything you want in life. And until next time, keep cooking.
Thanks for listening to the Business and BBQ Podcast. Make sure you check out our other episodes and stop by timherridge.com to say hi. We want to hear from you. Until next time, keep cooking.